How do you furnish your house when you are strapped for cash and or a new immigrant? In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how you can furnish your new place for free or almost free. My name is Christy in Calgary and I help new immigrants in their move to North America. Stay tuned because at the end of this video, I want to give you 3 amazing tips to change your mindset about how you furnish your house and start your new life overseas. Let's go. Option number 1, stooping. Stooping is a relatively new concept as a way to get furniture for free. You're going to need an Instagram account. Then you're going to search the term stooping plus the name of your city or the acronym. And in my case, I live in Calgary, so I do #stooping YYC. Then you're going to find the accounts that are aggregator accounts. These are the people that are kind enough to take their time to curate everyone's posts about this. Start following those accounts and you will see pictures of items. In the description or in a photograph, you're also going to see where those items are located. The downside to stooping is that it's a little bit random. You really have to be on top of it to try and find the specific item you want, and sometimes that item just never turns up. However, if you are at the start of your search and you don't have any furniture, it is a great place to start. There are a few other pro tips I'll put out there for you. You want to turn on the notification for these items. Pro tip number 2, you want to make sure that you're searching at the end and the beginning of the month, because that's when there's going to be most traffic, when people are busy moving and getting rid of those items. Also, you want to make sure that you are on it in the summer months, because those will be the months that definitely have the most activity. Option number 2 for free furniture. This one is very specific to my city. However, with similar Googling, you could find results for your city. This is the Calgary Drop-In Free Goods Program. It provides lightly used goods like furniture, kitchenware, clothing, computers, mobile phones, small devices, small appliances, and books to low or no income Calgarians who are building a life for themselves and their family. And now listen, I think you might feel like, hey, no, I'm an immigrant. This is for like refugees or people in deep need and crisis. If you are for a while living without an income and your savings are dwindling and those savings have been cut by a 13th or a 10th because of the exchange rate, you might be able to qualify for this. And quite frankly, if you're trying to save a few $1,000s, this could be the way to go about it. Also, the link's down below, but if you have any resources for free or inexpensive furniture that you would like to share with new immigrants or anyone else who's strapped for cash, just drop it down in the comments below and I'll make sure to share it. So just a heads up, we're kind of moving into the free/inexpensive options now, so you might be paying at this point. Option number 3, Kijiji or Craigslist. You're going to see that these 2 marketplaces, they are dominant depending on which province you're in. So make sure that you search both and figure out which of these is popular in your province. What I would do is, I'm in a Kijiji province, I would go to IKEA's website or to the store and go and find the particular items that I want. And then I would turn on the notifications for those specific items that I want on Kijiji. And when they pop up, I will be notified of them. Another note that I would like to put out there is make sure that you know your prices. If you are wondering, because you're new in the country and you're like, is this good value? Here's a little bit of a rule of thumb that I would go by. For instance, 50 to 60% of the original price for an item for an excellent or good condition, it's a pretty good deal. Anything more than that, you're doing well. What I would say when it comes to bartering or asking for a price reduction is just treat people like humans. Know the difference between being insulting and just asking for a discount like a polite human being, using full sentences like you would speaking to a human. I think sometimes people have a terrible experience online as a seller because people are just like, I'll give you $50 for it, even if it's like worth a lot more. But if you say to someone, hey, you know the price, would you be able to drop it to this amount? This is the budget that I have. Completely understand if it doesn't work for you. I find that people are actually pretty good about that. And if the person responds to you, great. If they don't, take it as a no and just kind of move on. The next option is Facebook Marketplace, which is run through the Facebook app. What's really great about this compared to Kijiji is that it is actually connected to human beings for the most part, and people are a little bit more polite and a bit more responsive. So what you want to do is you want to set up notifications for specific items and then keep your eyes open, and it may take a little while for you to find the specific item that you want, but if you have time on your side, you can find a really great deal. The next option are Facebook community groups or buy nothing groups, and you can find these by just searching and asking to join, and if you live in a particular region, they usually accept you. The upside to this is that usually the things are for free. The downside is it's a little bit random and it may take you a while to find something that you are looking for. But I'm going to give you a pro tip here. If you're part of a Facebook community group and you just want to introduce yourself as a new immigrant, saying that you're looking to buy the following items, I would post a picture of the item that I'm hoping to get so people kind of realize the specific nature of what you're looking for, as well as it takes a bit more space on the post and gets people's attention. That is a way for you to tap into your very local community and see if there are items that are out there. You don't have to feel uncomfortable about it. I have looked for many a baby item that's very specific ask, and I have found them through that means. I also put it out there, of course, I'm paying for these items. So I just ask people to DM me the particular prices and a picture of the item. And most of the time it's usually in great condition and for a pretty decent price, and I'm able to purchase it. Now we're moving into the category of paid items, starting with thrifting. Now, if you've watched any North American sitcoms, you will know all about thrifting. The top brands here in Canada are Goodwill, MCC, Mennonite Central Committee, and Value Village. But with these, you have to really enter the store to be able to see what you can get. You'll find usually at the back of the store or somewhere in there a furniture section, like in this store. For instance, this couch over here is an amazing deal for $50. Another option is the restore stores. Try and say that 5 times fast. These are run by Habitat for Humanity, and what you'll find here are mostly gently used or even brand new items. The downside is it's not as cheap as a regular thrift store. However, they have really nice quality goods here. But better than some of other thrifting options, Restore staff seem to be really on it for social media, and they like to post reels highlighting the different items and the price points for them, so that you can, from the comfort of your own home, do some shopping. But again, they do not take holds over the phone. You have to go in store to get the items, so you got to get there pretty quick. As promised a little earlier, I would like to talk to you about a mindset shift. You need to realize that as an immigrant, you are going through a time of physical and emotional transition. I have an entire series about the trauma that goes with immigration, and I think you need to be aware of this, because when you are purchasing items, you might be spending money to try and fill a psychological need. Trust me, when you enter an apartment or a home and you don't have enough furniture to fill it, the sense of emptiness that can fill you is bizarre. It goes beyond the logic of an empty room. Sometimes it's just this need to want to fill the space, and that is a very dangerous time to take your very limited savings, or worse, your credit card, and go and try and fill that space up. So at least if you have that awareness that this is what is happening, it could make a huge difference between spending thousands of dollars on items that, to be honest, you didn't research so well, you probably don't need for this time in your life, and you could probably do without. Mind shift number 2 is realizing that this is not forever. I also think when you are an immigrant, there is a bit of a time of transition. And by a bit of a time, I mean anything 3 to 5 years. You may think that you are settled in your forever job or your forever community, but once you actually start working the job, or once you actually live in the community for a while, you might realize this doesn't actually meet me or my family's needs. The last thing you want to do is be anchored down to a place because of the items that you have or you owe credit on. Then all of a sudden it feels like, man, I can't pivot and it feels like you're stuck again. So I would recommend really think of your time as a permanent resident, or if you're on a visa, as truly that, a time when you are still an immigrant and not a citizen yet. That the items that you purchase, you spend potentially less money on, so that it is okay for that item to go. The third and final mindset shift that I would mention is DIYing. And this is pretty popular in many countries, but particularly popular in North America. But when I moved to Calgary and I didn't have a ton of money or a ton of furniture, and the landlord, we had an issue with the apartment, and the landlord came in and he was like, hey, I noticed you don't have a dresser or a side table. He's like, well, someone moved out and would you like to have the items? They just left them here. And I was like, yes, I would. Got those items, used them as is for many years, but then finally, fast forward, moving into our house together, my husband and I, and the items did not look great for the rest of the color scheme, and it annoyed me every single day. And I was like, well, do we spend a couple hundred, several $100 to $1,000 getting brand new items that look gorgeous? Or is there an option to DIY? And I tried it. I actually DIY. It was my first time sanding down items, painting them, priming them, and then adding attachments. And I went from this dresser and drawer that served me well functionally, but now actually looked aesthetically much more in line with what I wanted, and something that could last me for years to come for an upgrade of $50 and I think about 7 hours of work. Let me know down below if there are any purchases that you regret as an immigrant. Don't worry, it's a safe space. If you're interested in saving money as a new immigrant, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I update on a pretty regular basis. And if you're interested in my day-to-day life, make sure to follow me on Kijiji in Calgary on Instagram. Tot volgende keer!